get down your fiddle and you get down your bow. Kick off your shoes and you throw 'em on the floor. Dance in the kitchen till the morning light.
Louisiana Saturday night.
Ah-hee!
Oh!
Welcome to Now That's Country.
Right.
I'm Penelope, your host, and we're going to be talking about real-life songs from country songs from your life. And I'm very pleased to introduce you Otis Roy, the Pomona Blue Yodeler. He introduced me to the songs from the Depression era in the 1920s, in particular the songs of his idol, Jimmie Rogers, the father of country music. Will you do my favorite song, Peach Pickin' Time in Georgia?
I sure will. Yodel-lady, oh, yodel-lady, oh, yodel-lady. When it's peach picking time in Georgia, apple picking time in Tennessee, cotton picking time in Mississippi, everybody picks on me. When it's roundup time in Texas, the cowboys make whoopee. Then down in old Alabama, it's girl picking time for me. The yodel-lady, oh, the yodel-lady, oh, the yodel-lady. There's a bluegrass down in Kentucky, Virginia, where they do the swing. Carolina, now I'm coming to you to spend the spring. Arkansas, I hear you calling, I know I'll see you soon. There's where we'll do a little picking underneath the Ozark moon. Oh, the lady, oh, the lady, oh, the lady. Now when hard times overtake you, I hope they don't get me, for I've got a sweetie waiting for me down in Tennessee. I know I'm going to see her, I hope it won't be long. There's where we'll pick a little cabin and call it our mountain home. Oh, the lady, oh, the lady, hey, the lady. When the cotton pickers pick the cotton, I'll pick a wedding ring. We will go to town and pick a little gown for the wedding in the spring. I hope the preacher knows his business, I know he can't fool me. When it's peach picking time in Georgia, it's girl picking time for me. Yodel-lady, oh, yodel-lady, oh, yodel-lady. Now that's country, girl.
That's country. Well, Otis was the son of a sharecropper, 13 people in his family, and they worked picking cotton in the cotton fields. And it was real hard work back there. Wasn't it, Otis?
It was really hard. And I think we worked high as 10, 12 hours, many, many days. Sometimes that was kind of a short day.
And he heard this man singing on the radio, Jimmie Rogers, and it just touched his heart. And he started singing in the cotton fields, making his work a little bit easier. And then Jimmie Rogers came to a town near him.
And then later I wrote a song with the help of my good friend here, Penelope, and it mentions a lot of those things in the song. And the name of the song is Tribute to Jimmie Rogers by me. The yodel lady, oh, the yodel lady, hey, the yodel lady. And that in Charleston, Missouri. The yodel lady, hey, the yodel lady, oh, the yodel lady. In Charleston, Missouri at the age of 15, saw Jimmie Roger, heard him yodel and sing. When Jimmie sang the blues, he made him sound just right. When he did a little yodel, like listen all night. Yodel lady, oh, the yodel lady, hey, the yodel lady. Mama says to me, Jimmie's coming into town. The cotton all day till my knees drug the ground. Back in 1929, I heard Jimmie Roger sing an old hard time. No, hard time blues. Went and paid 30 cents to hear Jimmie Roger sing. All around the water tanker waiting for a train. Told some stories and I laughed out loud. How the singing brakeman really worked the crowd. Yodel-lady, oh, the yodel-lady, hey, the yodel-lady. Sharecroppers knew hard times back then. Boys had to work like grown-up men. Out in the fields I would yodel his songs. Made my 12-hour days not seem so long. The yodel-lady, oh, the yodel-lady, hey, the yodel-lady. Mama says to me, Jimmie's coming into town, picked cotton all day till my knees drug the ground. Back in the 1929, I heard Jimmie Roger sing a no hard time, a no hard time blues. In Charleston, Missouri, at the age of 15, I saw Jimmie Rogers, heard him yodel and sing. When he sung his songs, made them sound just right. When he did his blue yodel, I could listen all night. When he did his blue yodel, I could listen all night. Ho-ho! Now here's my good friend, the songwriter, the performer, Penelope.
Well, Otis has a dream. He turns 80 in May, and he wants to be introduced on the Grand Ole Opry. So I have my fingers crossed for him. And I certainly think he deserves to be on, because he has been on Channel 2, Channel 4, Channel 7, always telling the story of his idol, Jimmie Rogers. I began writing songs after I was a teacher and a mother. I got a guitar for $10 at a swap meet and started writing songs about my life. And one thing that's followed me all my life has been car troubles. So I wrote my first blues. It's called The Flat Tire, Stick Shiftin', Broken Transmission Blues. Well, I love my man loves his car, but neither one of them are gonna get me very far. I've got the flat tire, stick shifting, broken transmission blues. He says you meet me about 7:45. I'm outside the restaurant and he's 3 hours late. I've got the flat tire, stick shifting, broken transmission blues. I'm fixing dinner, he decides to change the oil. Nothing's hot but me and honey, I'm ready to boil. I hate that machine, do you know what I mean? He says to take me for a romantic spin. The car breaks down and he's under it again. I got the flat tire, stick shifting, broken transmission blues. Well, I could roll it in a river, push it off a mountain road. If I could find one big enough, I'd flush it down a toilet bowl. I've got the flat tire, stick shifting, broken transmission blues. Well, I love my man loves his car, but neither one of them are gonna get me very far. I've got the flat tire, stick shifting, broken transmission blues. I've got the flat tire, find that car, I'll buy you. Well, Otis asked me to do one of his favorite tunes. I wrote it about my 2 daughters, and it's called Tiny Little Shoes. Tiny little shoes cover tiny little feet. Tiny little arms are reaching out for me. Tiny little head for your mama to kiss. All these little tiny things I'm gonna miss. Well, I see that you're growing, you've taken your first step. We gave away the crib where you've always slept. You don't mind if I reminisce, thinking about those tiny fingers I used to kiss, and tiny little shoes cover tiny little feet, tiny little arms are reaching out for me, tiny little head for your mama to kiss. All these little tiny things I'm gonna miss. Well, I see that you're growing, you're walking out the door, and you don't need me as much anymore. I see that you're growing up with each passing day, and it makes me proud, 'cause it's supposed to be that way. But still I miss tiny little shoes cover tiny little feet, tiny little arms are reaching out for me, tiny little head for your mama to kiss. All these little tiny things I'm gonna miss. Well, I see that you're packing, you're gonna leave home. I know that you love me, but it's time to be on your own. You don't mind if I weep just a bit, thinking about those tiny fingers I used to kiss, thinking about those tiny fingers I used to kiss. Well, Otis, you know I've been telling you if I didn't have to work my 40-hour-a-week job, I could probably change the world. Well, a couple of months ago, I got laid off my job, and instead of changing the world, I sat around feeling sorry for myself till I wrote the Laid Off Blues. Well, I could change the oil, it's long overdue. Fix the back fence, mow the front yard too. Well, there's 500,000 things that I ought to do, but I'm sitting here singing, got the laid off blues. Well, I should read a book, it's been too long. Sit down and write myself a gold record song. Do all the things that I planned to do, but I'm sitting here singing, got the laid off blues. They say when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. But I'm sitting around thinking about the kids in the house and all the bills I cannot pay. Well, I could go anywhere that I wanted to go, sit down and write all the letters I owe. I know I should catch up on the news, but I'm sitting here singing, got the laid off blues. Otis! Every cloud has a silver lining, that's what they say. But I'm sitting around thinking about the kids in the house and all the bills I cannot pay. Well, I could stand in that employment line. Lord knows I've got the time, but I'm stuck in this chair just like glue, sitting around singing, got the laid off blues. Well, I'm stuck in this chair just like glue, sitting around singing, got the laid off blues. Well, the king of the blues is Jimmie Rogers, king of the country blues, that is. He was a brakeman on a railroad, and he got tuberculosis, and it was too hard for him to work on the railroad anymore, and he started singing. And this man named Ralph Pierce heard him and started him recording, and for the next 5 years he wrote 111 blue yodels. And in 1933, when he was 35 years old, he died of tuberculosis. And I think this is one of his most poignant blues. It's called the TB Blues.
And did you ever hear of anyone doing their own eulogy in a song? Well, you're going to hear this. This is truly his own eulogy. My good gal's trying to make a fool out of me. Lord, my gal's trying to make a fool out of me. Trying to make me believe I ain't got that OTB. I got the TB blue. When it rained down sorrow, it rained all over me. When it rained down sorrow, it rained all over me. 'Cause my body rattled like a train on that old SP. I got the TB blue. I got that old TB, I can't eat a bite. I got that old TB, I can't eat a bite. Got me worried so I can't even sleep at night. I got the TB blue. I've been fighting like a lion. It looked like I'm going to lose. I've been fighting like a lion. It looks like I'm going to lose. 'Cause he ain't nobody ever whipped the TB blues. I got the TB blue. Gee, but that graveyard is a lonesome place. For that old graveyard is a lonesome place. They put you on your back, throw that mud down in your face. I got the TB blue.
And how about doing No Hard Times?
Oh, yes. I'll tell you just a little about this song. This song was in 1929, and with what little I knew about Jimmie Rogers, and many people told the stories, he was a good-natured person, very good-natured. He didn't know what No Hard Times was. Just think, you didn't know what No Hard Times was in 1929? After me paying 30 cents for seeing him, it's a great song. The old lady, oh lady, oh lady, I got a barrel of flour, Lord, I got a bucket of lard. I got a barrel of flour, Lord, I got a bucket of lard. I ain't got no blue, got chickens in my backyard. Oh, the lady, ain't the old lady. Got corn in my crib, cotton growing in my patch. Got corn in my crib, cotton growing in my patch. Got that old hen sitting, waiting for that old hen to hatch. Oh, the lady, oh lady, oh lady. Gonna buy all my children a brand new pair of shoes. Gonna buy all my children a brand new pair of shoes. And I'm gonna quit singing the doggone hard time blues. Oh, the lady, the old lady. I'm gonna hitch up my mule. I'm gonna take a hold of my line. I'm gonna hitch up my mule, take a hold of my line. And I can't be bothered with all these old hard times. Oh, the lady, oh lady, oh lady. I'm gonna build me a shanty, or I'm gonna settle down. I'm gonna build me a shanty, Lord, I'm gonna settle down. Gonna get me a corn-fed mama, Lord, and quit running around. Oh, the lady, oh, the old lady. I can make more money with my pick and plow. I can make more money with my pig and plow. one-eyed mule and good old Jersey cow. Oh, the lady, hey, oh, hard time blue. Hey, that's country now.
Country.
Here's my good friend, the songwriter, the great entertainer,
It's about
Penelope.
to be Father's Day, and I was looking for a way to write a song for my father, and I went to this country bar, and Fred Astaire Jr. was dancing on the dance floor, and the girls were all tripping over his feet. And he came over and he asked me to dance, and my heart was beating. I thought, can I dance with Fred Astaire Jr.? And then I remembered my dad had taught me to dance when I was a little girl, and he said, women don't need to know how to dance, they only need to know how to trust their partner. So for one whole dance, I was Jimmie Rogers, and they even cleared the dance floor, and I went home and wrote a song called My Daddy Was the Best. Well, I learned to dance by my daddy's hand when I was just a girl. Out on that dance floor we could really step and twirl. He danced all night with Mom and me, he never took a rest. Now I've danced with lots and lots of men, but my daddy was the best. And I wished I could dance with my daddy again. Feel his arms around me, see that great big silly grin. I wished I could dance with my daddy again. But I left home to see the world, and I ain't been back again. When I was young, I thought there's things I couldn't learn at home. So I packed my bags, caught the Greyhound bus, and set out on my own. I must have gone 100,000 miles just to find everything I need to know was back home all the time. And I wished I could dance with my daddy again. Feel his arms around me, see my mama's loving grin. I wished I could dance with my daddy again. But I left home to see the world, and I ain't been back again. Well, I learned to dance by my daddy's hand when I was just a girl. Out on that dance floor we could really step and twirl. He danced all night with Mom and me, he never took a rest. Now I've danced with lots and lots of men, but my daddy was the best. I've danced with lots and lots of men, but my daddy was the best. Can I have this dance, Daddy? Well, my best friend is my grandmother, and I lived with her when I went to college, and she was really wild. She belonged to White Shrine and Eastern Star, and she'd be out till 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning when I was trying to go to school. But if she stayed home, we'd take out her 78 RPM record collection, and we'd just dance all night. Hi, Grandma. This is Grandma Marcia. And we'd just dance all night with each other. So I knew when I was going to write my first song for my grandmother, it would be called I've Danced with My Grandmother. I have danced with my grandmother round the living room. I've danced with my grandmother and sung some of her tunes. She taught me the foxtrot, showed me the Spanish waltz. She taught me the turkey trot, and that's the most fun of all. That's the most fun of all. I've talked with my grandmother about her love and life. I've talked with my grandmother about her triumphs and strife. She showed me her strength, told me her philosophy. She shared her history, and then she danced with me. She danced with me. She taught me the foxtrot, showed me the Spanish waltz. She taught me the turkey trot, and that's the most fun of all. That's the most fun of all. Have you danced with a grandmother? Have you sung her tunes? If you've not danced with grandmother, you should do so soon. Well, Grandma turned 90 in September, and she went on a Caribbean cruise, and she won first place in the toga dancing contest. She's always going on all these adventures, and I'm always telling people about it. And this one woman, she said to me, what I want to know is what's Grandma got that I ain't got. And I thought that was a great title for a song. What's Grandma got that I ain't got? I'd just like to know. Everybody falls for her every place we go. I must have something missing, but I've searched high and low. What's Grandma got that I ain't got? I'd just like to know. Well, we both wake up early and work till the setting sun, then go out in the evening to have a little fun. But I look dog-tired and she looks all aglow. What's Grandma got that I ain't got? I'd just like to know. What's Grandma got that I ain't got? I'd just like to know. Everybody falls for her every place we go. I must have something missing, but I've searched high and low. What's Grandma got that I ain't got? I'd just like to know. Well, we go out in the evening, some music for to hear, and half a dozen men want to buy Grandma beer. I just stand there thirsty and staring at my toes. What's Grandma got that I ain't got? I'd just like to know. What's Grandma got that I ain't got? I'd just like to know. Everybody falls for her every place we go. I must have something missing, but I've searched high and low. What's Grandma got that I ain't got? I'd just like to know. Well, lately I've been thinking I'm losing my memory. I can't find my checkbook, I misplaced my keys. But she remembers everything, even from long ago. What's Grandma got that I ain't got? I'd just like to know. What's Grandma got that I ain't got? I'd just like to know. Well, Grandma told me about going to the barn dance, and I thought it was so great because all ages got together and danced. And she talked about being like a toddler up into the hayloft looking down at the dancers. And then a little bit later, she danced with the adults and then the young boys. And finally, she was going to the dance looking for romance. Well, right after supper, not 1 second later, she slipped on the new dress that her mother made her. And she put on her shoes and she tied on her bonnet. One that was pink with the big bow upon it, 'cause she's going to the dance, looking for romance, gonna take a chance that she might find love. While he went down to the creek to fetch a little water, put it on the cook stove, make a little hotter, in a big metal tub he took a little scrub. With that old lye soap he gave a little rub, 'cause he's going to the dance, looking for romance, gonna take a chance that he might find love. Well, he went to the dance, oh Dan was the caller, and he made the boys hoot and he made the boys holler, and he told those girls with the bouncy curls, make those little old petticoats twirl, and they look so pretty, they look so fine, nearly drove those country boys out of their minds. Well, that boy, he grabbed his pretty little miss and he gave her a twirl, and she gave him a kiss, and they danced all night by the kerosene lights, till he asked that little gal to be his wife, and she looked so pretty.